All right, clicking go live now. Okay, you're live.
Yay. Hi, everyone.
And now I have to click on the record. I don't see your record request. All right, clicking go live now. Oh boy.
Yes. I think it's on my name. If you click
Okay,
my name,
you're
it'll say.
live. All right, clicking go
Hi,
live.
everyone.
Okay, well, that's over and done with now. I could finally click on the video to get rid of the echo. I apologize for that.
No problem. And I believe too, like clicking on my name because I'm not able to record at this time.
More. Oh no.
There we go. Got it.
We have such a wonderful professional way of starting our videos.
We're real people in the moment.
I don't know how other people do that, you know. They always look perfect and everything works well. And I'm like, do I still remember how I did that last week?
There's not much editing here. You get what we can do.
Yeah, we don't edit anything at all. It is what it is.
Yes.
Because I don't believe in the editing part. Because I thought that I would be able to see the chat. Okay, I am. So I would assume everybody can hear us, whoever is here.
Maybe we can get a thumbs up or whatnot if you can hear us.
Well, we did everything right, so we just expect that people can hear us.
Okay, great.
And I got a question from Angela about a constant sore throat. And it's ongoing, very sore, phlegm throat. It's consistent 8 weeks now. I'm on the grapefruit lemon quinine, HCQ, I think, with honey. In general, I'm feeling okay, but just my throat is so thick. And I think she has a lot of mucus that needs to come out. Now, my suggestion to her was, I don't believe, I have to say it differently. I don't believe in preventing symptoms because something may come up, like the second big C, not to be mentioned here. You just have to make sure that you do everything needed to get a healthy body, to get the acidity out, to get the mucus out, and start detoxing. And that will help you more than taking anything else. And the thing is, if the grapefruit lemon quinine, is that how you pronounce it? Quinine or quinine?
Yes, I think it's quinine.
Yeah, I wouldn't even take that. If you want to have, the grapefruit and lemon is okay. I don't know about the quinine. It's I'm not sure about that. A little honey, yeah, that can work. Now I have a tip for everyone that has problems with a sore throat, with coughing, with mucus that needs to be dissolved. The average detox symptoms when you have a cold or you're getting the flu. And that is actually, Dr. Morse calls it his 3-lung tea. And it is only 3 herbs in there. And from what I understood, it's 3 equal amounts of mullein leaf, that is MULLEIN leaf, pleurisy roots, PLEURISY, and fenugreek seeds. Now this you can make tea out of it, and you can use it for steaming if you need to cough stuff up. And the beauty of these 3 herbs is that they are also a light lymph mover. So once you get your kidneys filtering even a little bit, this will absolutely help. And this is one of the things that we should have, at home anyway. It's just you never know when you need it. And if you do those 3 equal amounts, you can probably buy them, I don't know if you can buy them at the health food store, but you can order it online. Or you can order it through me, or even at Dr. Morse's website, which is Dr. Morse's Herbal Health Club.com. And then you can buy it as it is. But I think he was sold out again. So that was one question. Do you have any experience with something like this, with a sore throat, Sarah, that you would like to share?
Nothing with the sore throat, but anytime we feel anything remotely like that coming on, we turn to kind of like a warm lemon water. I'll take lemons and juice them into ice cube trays and freeze them. And then I just warm the water up as, not to where it's hot by any means, but definitely warm. And then drop my lemon in there. And then we immediately start sipping on that right away. My other experience is with mullein and fenugreek, both. Those are amazing. So I can only imagine what the 3-lung tea would be like. I know that they're really good expectorants also, especially the mullein. I'm not 100% sure what the fenugreek does, but I've used them both and they're great.
Yeah, they're part of my daily routine. So, and I actually, I mix this a little mint tea. I like mint tea.
Yep. I've also used them with calendula, rose hips, fenugreek, and mullein. Mix them into a tea, and then we've even turned them into compresses. You put them on your stomach for when you're having diarrhea or any kind of stomach pains. We used them on our son while he was growing up, and it worked pretty well too.
And that is interesting that you mentioned calendula, because that is one herb that I have been using since my late teens, but never internally. We use it in the South on skin when you had a wound or a cut, even a deep cut. My husband once had a motorcycle accident, and he had all this tiny gravel that the doctor couldn't even get out. So she got a little depressed over it because he couldn't do what she wanted to do. There was all this gravel in his elbows and in his knees. And I was like, oh, no problem. We have the calendula salve to the rescue. And we did twice a day, actually. We put that on a thick layer and some bandage over it. And then, in the evening, took it off, and there was the gravel. It was always coming out. And it pretty much healed without any scars. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. And I have used calendula throughout my life so much, but I've never used it internally, and I don't even know why. It was just that back in the Netherlands, it wasn't sold like that. It was only sold in that salve. And all it had in there was calendula, and they call that wool fat, lanolin. From sheep's wool,
Yep.
the fat from that. And it was just an amazing product. Now, the same company is still making them, and now they add all kinds of stuff to it. So I stopped using it.
Yeah, we use the lanolin for the horses too, but we haven't been using that much lately since I kind of found out really what it was. But the calendula salve is amazing.
Yes, it is, as long as it's pure, and it's actually, I would imagine I made my own lotion, so it should be really, really easy to reproduce. And I don't know what, it's like the calendula, is that the big part, or was the lanolin a big part? I don't know.
I do think the lanolin is just like a moisturizer, like a skin moisturizer, but the calendula is what actually really helps heal.
Yeah, because it was definitely not, the lanolin was definitely not hurting the wounds, and those were big and deep wounds.
Oh.
So it is a tip, calendula to the rescue.
Yes.
And it same with, what was it? Cabbage, green cabbage leaves. That's another one if you have an infection on your skin, to put that on. Oh, now it's quiet. You haven't heard of that.
That's interesting. That one, no, I have not heard of. I feel like I've seen it, but I have not actually heard of it.
Somebody told me when and actually it was also for a bruise when I had that bad fall, and then a few days after that, I came across an article about how to use it, and then it was like, yeah, I've known that from, my health books that I already had in my 20s, and on all these home things on how you do it, without all the pharmaceuticals. Always love knowing that it is there. There's so much out there that can help you in the herbal field.
There sure is.
But as long as you also know that when you are on a high fruit lifestyle, everything heals faster. It heals so much faster. It could be a cut, it could be anything. You just heal, bones even heal faster when you're on all fruit.
They do. They really do. It's almost like there's movies like where you see like the vampires, how they get like cut and all of a sudden they heal instantly. I'm always like, if I just eat more fruit, will it heal that quickly?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. A question from Claudia. She had a few questions for me. Was how important are leafy greens, sprouts, and microgreens? Do they have a place in a fruitarian lifestyle? Yeah, I would like to think so. I mean, it's not necessarily when you are detoxing, but I don't feel it actually hurts the detox as long as it's not the food that you are eating. But I think it would be excellent because sprouts and microgreens, my gosh, how easy is that to make yourself at home? You have sprouts in a few days, and microgreens take a little longer, but it's all doable right at your home. So we can actually get to a point where we don't even need the grocery stores for their I don't know, sprayed greens. I noticed something, and I have been buying some food on the farmer's market, and it comes straight from the yard, right there and then. So it is picked the day before, and it's sold, the day of the farmer's market. That fruit, what I buy there, and it's all ripe, and the greens, yeah, leafy greens, they only last a few days. Now, when I go to the grocery store and I buy these packages with organic, what is it? What do you call that? Could be spinach, kale, or other stuff. It has a date on it. The date is usually a day, a week, and sometimes longer in the future. And sometimes they last, even 2 weeks. So I started thinking about an article that I read back in the 90s. That was a big thing there. And I thought, oh my gosh, that is wonderful. They can make things last longer. They were going to, I don't know, it was kind of a radiation of what it was. Now, what if they did that to our veggies so they can last longer, and our fruits that we buy there?
I wouldn't put anything past them.
Yeah, it was because I was actually a little taken back that the veggies and the fruits that I bought on that farmer's market were only lasting a few days.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
We buy apples from a place too. And I remember when we first started, I was thinking, these look really bad. Like they don't even, I don't know if I want to eat this, because my mind was so trained how the apple looks at the grocery store. And, all pretty or red or, no kind of blemishes. And then when we get them straight from the tree, yeah, some of them look good, but some of them, like, you're kind of iffy on it. But that's what a real apple looks like. It doesn't have the beeswax on it, or it's not treated with anything. You don't have to, peel the wax off of it before you eat it. So yeah, I was kind of shocked when we first started buying apples from an orchard.
As a kid, we actually had an apple tree right in front of our house. So yeah, of course, we just picked the apples and ate them. And if there was a worm in it, we ate around the worms.
Mhm, exactly.
So now when people look at it and it's like, oh my God, that apple is bad. No, that's a healthy apple.
Yes, if there's a worm in it, that's a good sign.
Yeah, not because you're gonna eat the worm, but it was like yeah. And as kids, we didn't even think about it. It was just, oh, okay, there's a worm in it.
Yeah.
Or if we picked the lettuce, in the yard, of course there was always something in it. So
Mhm.
yeah, I remember we put salt in the water, and then the lettuce we had in Holland back then. I call it Holland because it's officially the Netherlands. We only, as a lettuce, we actually only had what they call here the butter lettuce. So that was the lettuce that we ate. And of course, salt water, we always had stuff coming out there. But
Oh
that was,
yeah.
you didn't think about it. But here, when you go to the store, even the stuff that is not washed, it doesn't have anything in it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And we think like it is bad when nature, when the lettuce is shared by other parts of nature.
We have for sure been brainwashed.
Yeah. So the question was then, do they have a place in a fruitarian lifestyle? I would say yes. If you really need to detox, then go slow with them. Another question was, does celery juice have a place in the regenerative healing journey fruitarian lifestyle? With this one, I find many people following along with Mr. MM, so there is confusion about his teachings versus Dr. Morse's teachings. I have addressed that before, and I got a lot of problems about it because I have followed him for 18 months. And I started, and I was, well, say halfway in, I was like, well, I'm not healing. I'm not getting any better. I was religiously doing the 16 to 24 ounces celery juice with nothing added to it first thing in the morning, and got frustrated when the celery stalks were getting more and more expensive, or oh my gosh, now what, they don't have any celery, and going from store to store, completely crazy. It was like I was addicted, but we were told how important that was for health, and I so wanted to heal. But I had really explosive diarrhea, cramps. And now we know, thanks to Dr. Morse, that when you have that, your body is telling you something is not right and wants to get it out. Now, I used to say about half of my clients, half of the people that I talk with come from that way of living, eating, drinking. And they all got worse. And well, I do have to give him credit that his diet starts out, the first thing that I learned, other than the celery juice, because that was the first book out, and oh my gosh, it was a bestseller right away. Don't need to add anything there. I think people understand. But the first thing that I did was stop eating all the animal products. That was a good thing. So yes, of course, I was feeling better. I did not eat eggs with cheese, those delicious cheese omelets with spinach. Pretty much, well, 3-4 times a week. I stopped eating that. I stopped eating meat, which I didn't eat much. I stopped eating my favorite salmon because I loved salmon. And the dairy and ice cream, of course, ice cream. You think you have a pretty good diet, but then when you look back, it's like, yeah, I did eat ice cream, and yeah, I love the whipped cream. And so I stopped that, and I started feeling better, which is, of course, you feel better. You leave that junk out. But then it was replaced with other stuff that didn't do my body, and the same as with many people, any good. And then there was still that celery juice. So I was eating the nuts and the seeds and other cooked food, and oh my gosh, so many white potatoes in a variety of ways. We know now that's absolutely not helping because They are used in the glue industry. So just think about what it does in your GI tract. Not helping you at all. But over the year, and I'm kind of embarrassed to say, I did it for 18 months. And then I was so sick, I couldn't walk anymore. I could barely get out of bed. I was like, I'm not going to make it till the end of the year. And then I stopped with the celery juice. I cannot say I was getting better because I stopped with it. I got better because I left out the cooked food and the seeds and the nuts, the fats and the proteins, even the plant proteins. And that was the difference. But going back with the celery juice, I wasn't really that alerted at all until a book came in front of me that says celery juice is toxic, or celery juice and its toxicity, something like that. And I wasn't looking for any book like that. It just popped up in front of me. And I always feel that when that happens, I do have to pay attention. So I started reading it, and that whole book is actually nothing more than all the research that has been done over, oh my God, I think it goes even way back to the 20s. So say over the last 100 years about celery use, the researches that have been done all over the world, which is quite interesting. Why all that interest in celery? And so I posted the front and the back of the book in a group. Oh my God, so many people got so very angry. And since then, how do you say that? How good it is for us and how much it can heal is even up to the max, with saying it heals cancer. And in the meantime, just drink your celery juice and keep eating your cooked food and your potatoes and your nuts and the seeds and the high fats, and then thinking you have to keep doing that to get better. It is being said, celery is an herb. So since it is an herb, it must be good for us. Well, I don't see anything wrong with adding a little celery to your salad, or even a little bit to your juices. But it is the amount that we are taking, because who in their right mind, let's just say, you would take like cilantro. You would drink 16 ounces cilantro. Nobody in their right mind would do that. And but yeah, maybe if somebody comes out and tells you you can cure whatever with it, they may. But I do advise for people who have a problem with getting their kidneys to filter to start with 3 days of parsley juice, maybe 4 to 6 ounces. But I'm talking about 4 to 6 ounces and talking about 3 days, and see how it goes. And then maybe you do it a week, but not longer. Anything that you have to keep using, and I know people who are doing this for years, it makes no sense whatsoever. Because the herbs are there to heal us. They are not a treatment. So when they heal us, maybe expect that after a while, whatever needs to be healed is healed. And then we find out that, and I think that is the case with the celery use, it suppresses certain symptoms. For some people, other people just get violently ill, like I did. My body couldn't handle it. And I'm not the only one. I hear a lot of people talking about the diarrhea, the cramps, the stomach pain, and you're messing up your body. And I will probably get people angry about this again, but please just think about it. How much sense does it make to keep using something over and over for years? Don't you realize that is not healing? Because if you healed, you don't need it anymore. That is what we do with the herbal protocols. We use them for like 3 months. And then we see how it goes. We stop for a while and then, look into it and see if there's still something needed, or if your body can do it with the diet only. It is, we don't treat, and herbs are not to treat. They are to assist in the healing. And I don't feel that the celery juice is doing that. Can you add anything to it?
Yes, absolutely. The bottom line is that our bodies are pure miracles. They're God's creation, and they can heal themselves all on their own. And what I've always been told is that your body is what actually really heals you. And then the fruit is what would energize your body and help your body to maintain alkalinity. And then the herbs kind of help speed the process along, but herbs are not meant to be taking forever. Like you said, up to like 3 months and then back off and reevaluate. So if celery truly is an herb, then it's something you might want to do temporarily, but definitely not something you want to continue on day after day, week, month, year, whatnot. Maybe do it for a little bit and then stop, kind of like the parsley juice or whatnot. But I also think too that the reason why the things that he does talk about work for a lot of people, at least in the beginning, is people are just that sick. And so any change where if you're cooking your foods at home instead of eating out, or if you are adding celery juice, people are so dehydrated that any kind of juice could help. So I think we're just that sick as a society that any kind of alternative is going to help. But again, that can only get you to so far when we're really fruitarians, and that's the way we should be eating.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking what you said about what the body can heal and what the fruit is and what the herbs are. If we would be 100% alkaline, we have no symptoms, it's like what Dr. Morse said. If you are 100% healthy, you don't feel your body. You wouldn't have an ache and pain or anything. You float. You don't feel your body. Very, very few people are like that. And I definitely don't know anyone. But, you know, there may be people like that. Your next step would be you may not even need fruit.
Mhm.
We have Breatharians. We have Breatharians who do it, you know, like a few days a week. I would almost see that as an, you know, the fasting and then only eating a little fruit, and that's it. We could live like that, and it actually does make sense to me. But nowadays, with the state that our bodies are in, I don't even dare thinking of that. But I do found out that when the longer you are on fruit, the less you need. And that is something that I find amazing. Because my gosh, what we can eat for breakfast, you know, 4 eggs, you know, with a lot of cheese on it, and toast with it. For lunch, we may eat a piece of chicken in a big salad if we are thinking we are on the health path. In the evening, it could be, if it is, you know, your meat eater, it could be a steak with potatoes and veggies and maybe even dessert after. And that amount of food, if you know how small your stomach is, it's barely the size of an apple. And when you look on your plate, what you put in there, and then you've eaten it, and you know you feel full, and then it's a half hour later, oh, I could eat a little bit more. It's crazy, you know, what we actually have done to our body. We were not aware of how bad it was. You know, there have been so many misinformation about what you should eat, and even the worst food we've been told, you know, they're healthy. In one of the groups is now a discussion about how healthy is olive oil. One says it's pure poison, another says it's junk food, and another one says we need it for our health. And look at the Mediterranean diet, you know, it's a lot of fats and olive oils. And then you come to learn that when you go back in time and in the Mediterranean area, they did not eat that much olive oil. That was not a staple in their diet.
Oh, another lie, huh?
Yeah, it's another lie. And I mean, how natural is oil? I mean, I pick an olive and I from a tree, and I press it. Is oil coming out? I don't think so.
Mm-mm.
But on the other hand, I have to admit, when I have sesame seed and if I let it run in the food processor long enough, yeah, I can see kind of, it gets really fat. And you can see kind of oily coming on top of it.
Mhm.
But that means it's already being processed. And I think the process with olives is even a lot different than the simplicity of making tahini. But it's oils are not healthy for our body. It's not a food. I mean, you don't pick it from the tree. And why would we need oil? People say we need fats for our brains. No, we don't.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. I've
So
always been told oil is oil. It doesn't matter where it comes from. It could be grade Z oil or grade A oil. Oil is oil. You should not put it in your body.
exactly. And even I thought many years ago, oh, but it is avocado oil. Avocados are healthy, not really so much.
Mm-mm.
And so the avocado oil must be healthy. Well, I haven't looked into it, but I still don't know where the oil is coming out with the avocado. How the heck do they do that?
They must press it really hard. Okay. I have no idea.
I don't know. I don't know. No, but we leave oil out of our diet. So it's yeah.
There
So
is
the
a
ne-
little tidbit at the end, if we have time, about fat that I wanted to bring up, but let's make sure we get to our questions first.
okay, well, there was another one with consuming fruits being the primary focus to cleanse and optimize health. Weight loss is often experienced as a secondary effect. Does the fruit support elasticity in the skin? Will there be issues with excess skin or saggy skin? Well, we start on a different way of eating and detoxing to become healthy and not to look 20 years older because we lost so much weight. Now, I had a weight issue my whole life. I had been off and on always. The weirdest thing is that saggy skin was never really an issue when I lost weight. Was that because, and I think I was pretty acidic actually, because I had 19, they took my gallbladder out. 22, I was paralyzed from the neck down. It's not really something I talk often about because nobody knew what the cause was. Well, with this, the cause was actually that I got off my reasonable healthy diet because of a ton of stress, and I had alcohol, I had sugar, I had grains, or actually pies over the what is it, in the holiday season. And I got very, very sick. Now I know that my body was a rebellion into, okay, now you lay still, be still, and don't eat anything. And after 2 weeks, it went away and I could go again. I had it twice, so it was a pretty big warning sign to change my life and to change the stress in my life. I never had it again. But back then it was kind of scary because in the hospital they said, oh, there are only 13 causes or 13 reasons that can cause this. And I had none of the 13. So now what? It was a scary time. If you wake up and you cannot move anything anymore.
I can't even imagine. That would be terrifying.
And I was in my early 20s, had a young child.
Mm-hmm.
So, but is your skin getting saggy? It's often that you are dehydrated, and what you already mentioned, Sarah. Pretty much all of us are dehydrated, and if you are well hydrated, you won't see it as much. Now, I'm getting to an age, is another thing. Should I say that or should I not?
Well, we're gonna live to be 1,000, so go for it.
Yeah. Well, I developed these little wings under my arms.
You don't have to be up there in age to develop those.
Oh, okay. And that is something I don't worry about it. But yeah, if your body start healing, it doesn't, you don't just lose the weight and then you get awful skin. Your skin is going to get beautiful the more toxins you get out of your body. I mean, it's easy for me to say, yes, this will happen, but it all happens at what level of acidity are you, and what are you doing, and can you maintain it? Are you well hydrated? Did you clean your GI tract? So there are a lot of aspects to it.
Yep, 100% agree.
The next one was, how does regeneration work if organs have been partly or completely removed, like an appendix removed or a kidney removed? How does kidney filtering work if you only have one kidney? Is it still achievable? Will it take longer? Yeah, the interesting thing is the right side of the lymph system, the right side of the kidney. So yeah, if you don't have a kidney there on the right side, then the left side has to take over. Will it take longer? Possibly. And can things regrow? What I learned was that as long as there are some cells left behind of that organ, it can regrow. Have we experienced that often? No, very rare. But like, I don't have a gallbladder. And I was actually recently told that, and this is one of the professors from Lena, from Dr. Morse, and she said, you don't know if you don't have a gallbladder again. You could have, and that's true. I could have. I'm not going to get it tested because I don't see a point, and I don't even see a point of having it or not having it. It doesn't really matter because I know what I need to do. I have to stay on the fruit and be as healthy as I can, and let the fruit and the hydration heal the body and heal it as good as it can. And yes, of course, we would love to have it regrow. But when she said that, that made me think right away. I've mentioned before, I broke the upper femur. Under, I think, an inch or two under the hip ball. So they had to take that off and put metal in there. So I was looking at Lena and I was like, okay, now you're not going to tell me that hip bone can also regrow, because the body knows what needs to be there. But then I'm stuck with a piece of metal there in my body. And I think that is what a lot of questions that people would have, is like, oh yeah, but I have metal here and metal there, and yeah, I don't know. We know it can. We know the body can heal that much. How long it takes, it's not going to be fast. It can be years. But it is an interesting concept that everything can regrow. So that means if you have a broken off tooth and the root is still there, yes, it can regrow. So
yeah, we don't have people living long enough on a record that we know of. Like, obviously they're not out talking about these kinds of people anyway, but somebody that's been a frugivore for many, many years, or people that are living, past 100 and still like very healthy, are they able to regenerate anything? Because those people are not in the mainstream news by any means.
No, they're not. But I have to go what I learned from through Dr. Morse, that he had a few people in his clinic where it happened to. But if you see over the course of 40 years and you see say a dozen people that it happened to, with all the thousands of people, that is not many. But it's like with me. I mean, I may have a gallbladder again and I wouldn't even know. So
exactly.
And it's not, but like I said, it's not important to me. It's like we do what we can to be as healthy as we can, and this is where the fruit and temporarily the herbs come in. And I think don't worry about it. Even if because I do have people who say, yeah, I only have one kidney, I cannot do it. Yes, you can. Sure, you can.
If any reason you should be doing it, that is a great reason to do it, because you definitely want to take care of that kidney and not tax it too much.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, well, these were actually the questions that I had already printed out. I haven't checked if I have more coming in. You had a question that was related to fat.
Well, it was kind of like maybe like a statement, but then see what you think about it too. I cannot remember if it was either through Charlie or one of Dr. Morris's videos that I heard, but fat, the reason why when we actually eat fat or have fat, like an oil or something like that, we feel good because it's almost like a Tylenol or an ibuprofen to us. It's a temporary feeling that makes us feel good throughout our body, but it does only last a little bit of time. And so every time if people still eat like a cheeseburger, if they sit down and they have this big cheeseburger or something, they're like, oh, I feel so good after eating this. But then maybe like 20 minutes later or something, you don't feel so good anymore. It's just a temporary feeling. Or if you eat like somebody that's not eating meat or whatnot, and you're eating an avocado or something, you feel good temporarily after eating it. But it was something along the lines of that it's due to the fat. It gives you kind of like a euphoric. It's also like an ibuprofen where it kind of makes your whole body feel good, but just temporarily. Do you know anything about that?
I think that came from Charlie. I have heard him say that. And that is exactly what it is. And then after the next day or a few hours later, especially when you have already pains in your body, you only have more pain, but you don't relate it to the food that you eat because you constantly have that pain. And but yeah, if you keep eating that way, then I can see where people think they have that feeling constantly, and that that they don't feel so good a few hours later. It's just like, yeah, well, maybe I ate too much, because I've said it, I've heard my husband say it. Yeah, I just ate a little too much. It'll go away, and then you do it again, and you feel great again for a short period of time. But there is something addictive to it.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
I think that is the biggest problem to it there, and the smooth feeling in your mouth. Because if I make a dish and I leave out the avocado, it doesn't have that silky smooth taste to it. Add an avocado, and voila, there it is. Great. Tastes absolutely delicious for a short time, and then you start feeling like, I should not have done that.
hmm With avocados, I do like eating them, but I've noticed too that sometimes the roof of my mouth or my lips will even tingle after eating an avocado. And sometimes they upset my stomach. So I will stay away from them for the most part.
Yeah, I do
Yep.
my best to do that too.
Another thing too is what I was just kind of thinking, especially like over Christmas, there were people chopping onions, and it was just like even being in the room, it's like our bodies just send out signals of things we should stay away from. And for someone to sit there and cut an onion up and they're like crying and they can't even basically be near that onion is like your body just screaming out in all ways of, I don't think we should be eating this.
No, we shouldn't. And in the Facebook groups, there are a lot of discussions about onions. I got to learn that onions are high in sulfur and we don't need them. There was actually someone said that put an onion, if you have a cold, put an or a stuffed nose. It was about a stuffed nose. Put an onion, on a saucer, open side up, one half onion, open side up, and you will sleep like a baby throughout the night. You put it on your nightstand, and that's that. I have done that, and yes, it does open your nose, because
Mhm.
when your eyes are open, it would even tear your eyes. So it does that, but then you throw it out. It doesn't mean that you have to put it in your body. And is really the taste that significant, that great, that you have to have it? I don't see it. It's
No.
and that is the same with garlic. I mean, throughout the ages, garlic has been known not as a food, as a medicine that you rarely use and only when necessary. That's where I can see your point. I like garlic. I never liked it until I came to the US. I love garlic, but I was cutting it down. Now I don't buy it anymore because I can eat, without any garlic. And it's the same thing. When needed, use it as a medicine. But other than that, don't. And it's actually, I have a big article about it, how toxic garlic is.
Yeah, and they put it in everything. So they've like made us start to like it. It's almost kind of like maybe like the new cheese or whatever. I mean, it's definitely not as bad as cheese, but how cheese used to not be anywhere. And then what was it after, I don't know, World War One, World War Two, maybe World War Two, then cheese was everywhere.
It is, and the amounts, it's actually ridiculous because when I was a child, and yeah, we go back to the 50s then, I mean, we had cheese, but if we ate with a family of, well, back then it was a family of four, my gosh, we may eat a few ounces in a week. We got to a point that we ate those few ounces for one person in a day, easily. And yeah, when I was in my actually 20s, 30s, I started eating more and more cheese. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can live on that. Only to find out when I tried it once when I was traveling, all I had with me was cheese because it wouldn't spoil. And I love cheese. I had cheese and bread. Cheese, bread, and butter. Healthy, not so much. And I got severe constipation. So no, it's not good for us. Holland is known for its delicious cheeses. If you go now to any grocery stores, and here the grocery stores even had these delicious Dutch cheeses, those old, we call them old hard cheeses, very salty, very tasty. And if you eat too much, you actually get sick to your stomach. That is how healthy it is.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then here in the US, they have cheese that I couldn't even consider it cheese. I thought it was disgusting. But, and cheese isn't everything. And what I noticed, which is rather interesting, it has nothing to do with our health here, but I see these sometimes on Facebook, you see these street cooking things in Asian countries. It is all cheese and milk and meats.
All mucus.
Yeah, that's it.
Are you referring to when you said the cheese that you're not sure if it's cheese is the single wrap cheese that comes in that plastic?
Yeah.
That, what is it? I think it can burn or something like that too. So like it won't melt. You can burn it. Gosh.
Yeah, we got sometimes you people say, oh, but you have to read the ingredients, and when you cannot pronounce them, then don't buy them. And I got to a point like, let's not have to read anything, just don't buy anything in a can or a package.
Exactly. And that natural flavoring, oh,
MSG.
nobody knows what's in that.
Yeah, and natural is being used. So that is another thing where we are, misled with it. If it's natural, it doesn't mean anything. It's just a word they use to make you feel good and thinking like, oh, natural, nature, so it must be good. No, it is not. You are being fooled.
Another brainwashing. We actually do have a question in the chat. She says, my son suffers from allergy symptoms. He is not eating healthy yet. What would be the first step for him?
I saw the message from Sana. Sana, it is the same as with everything. Try for him to leave out, you start with leaving out the meat, the dairy, and the eggs. A lot of times allergies it depends on what kind of allergies it is, but they are related to milk, to dairy. For me, it was dairy and grains. The dairy, but for me, was so bad that, and I didn't realize until recently, I had from 6-month-old until 12, 13, I had these middle ear infections twice a year. Not fun for a child, absolutely not fun, because it hurts like hell. And I recently just realized it's, oh my gosh, they stopped when I was 12, 13 years old. That is also when I stopped drinking milk because my mother couldn't make me drink milk anymore. And so that's when it stopped. So there's definitely a relation. There's always a relation with food. So that is where you first have to start leaving those foods out, and not just for for a little while to see how he's doing, because if you think that, okay, we'll leave it out for 3 months and then we can add it back. No, you shouldn't add it back ever. It's I can see where it's not easy for a child to do that. And I was just talking this morning about it with my husband about allergies that I had. And my sister had allergies, so I was like, I'm not going to have any. I don't want any allergies. My mother had allergies. I was not going to have them. And then I got asthmatic bronchitis and pneumonia. And then, of course, they did an allergy test, and it was found out I was allergic to cigarette smoke and to exhaust fumes from cars. So that was like, and I should be on medication for the rest of my life. Well, even back then, I was in my very early 20s. I was like, okay, that's not the solution. The solution is move out of the city and stay away from smokers. And that is when I had smoked for a few years. That is when I stopped smoking and I never touched it again. But still, I cannot be around smokers. It's like my throat closes up and I can't breathe. But that's easy. Stay away from it. So those were my allergies, and as far as I know, I never had any others. I have a lot of cats, so it was always said, "Oh, you must have a cat allergy." But every allergy you have, you can overcome. It is a clean diet and a clean gut. Those are the keys. A clean diet, and with a clean diet, I don't mean the average, but it's saying healthy diets, because nowadays even the word healthy doesn't mean anything anymore. Because when you hear people say I have a healthy diet, I am only on low-fat meats, and I have only whole grains, and it's like that's not really that healthy. So we get to the fruits and the little greens, and like the leafy greens, the sprouts, and the microgreens, and we make sure that we clean out the GI tract, and that's just it. It is an easy lifestyle, actually, and but we can say, it's so easy. You can heal, and all you need to do is eat, like Dr. Morse said, eat fruit, berries, and melons. But when you realize it, it is the hardest thing you ever did in your life, because yeah, we have to we're so brainwashed with everything, and it is so hard to know who are you going to listen to. But because one person says this, the other person says that. I mean, it's like one person talks about lectins and, oh, you cannot eat fruit, you cannot eat fat veggies, and you have to take my pill, and that eliminates the lectins, but you still cannot eat fruit and veggies. And I'm like, yeah, and this person, well, it's actually Dr. Gundry, he has a large following. And I've done it. I followed it. Did it help? Nope, of course not. Because there is actually only one way, and it's not my ego talking, or I know it all. I don't. I had to figure it out myself, and trial and error. It's all trial and error. But when you feel better, when you eliminate a lot of the, well, I can call everything that is not fruit or veggies, I can call it junk food. I think that's okay to say that. It's all junk food. Anything packaged, anything cooked, even our healthy soups, they don't work to heal. And just get on the fruit. And it is a tough concept for people. It absolutely is. And I 100% understand that. But yeah, it is the only way. I can see it as the only way. There's no magic pill. There are no shortcuts. That is one other thing. And you just embrace this new lifestyle, and not feel that you are being deprived, because yeah, my husband and I, we have fun sometimes, and thinking about the food that we ate when we were younger in the Netherlands. And one of these things is actually kroketten, and they are like, yeah, they have oh God, what is it? Now I don't know, it's not like a goulash in there, but there's some meat in there, of course, with a lot of very tasty, who knows, whatever it is. And then it's fried, it's deep fried. It's delicious. It's delicious with mayonnaise. It's delicious on bread. And we enjoyed it, and we can still taste it and laugh about it. And it's like, yeah, never again. We will never again have that, and it's okay because we feel so much better. And we know that we're not going into the detrimental symptoms of what is called it's aging. Yeah, well, I'm getting older, so it's okay. It's to be expected. No, you don't have to. It doesn't have to be that way. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then even if you did eat some of that, your body would probably try to reject it as soon as possible anyway at this point.
Yeah, that is what I hear quite often. It's like, yeah, I'm well on my way. And I tried with the family, I tried this, and oh my gosh, I should not have done that. Well, now learn to listen to your body. Now you know what your body can do and how it responds. I mean, you are your own doctor. I mean, it's your body, you are responsible. And it's always a choice. And although sometimes we feel when we eat something bad, yes, and I am guilty too. And I still know I'm responsible. I can beat myself up about it, but on the other hand, it's well, okay, it was good as long as it lasted, like you said. It's great for a little while, and then you feel like shit. So
Yes. I
but
remember
that
the
is,
day after Christmas, we felt like we had hangovers and we didn't even eat remotely bad considering. So some of the foods we even indulged in were even considered really good food. But I felt really bad the whole next day.
yeah. And then you could just go back to what you were doing before, the fruit, the next day you're back on fruit, your juices or whatever you take, and you start all over again. That's just how life is.
Mhm.
And I don't think we should even beat ourselves up if it happens. If it's only, that is why I have that mucusless foods PDF. It's like, this is all the stuff that you can't eat. So if you go out eating, see if you can get anything like that. I mean, I can go here, what is it? I think the Ruby Tuesday. They have
Ruby Tuesday is a phenomenal salad bar for one.
well, not anymore. I mean, it was a while since I was there. I was there not too long ago. The portions are halved, if and even less. There's no glassware. It's not a dining thing anymore. It's not just another fast food joint. But yeah, they do, and they have now a lot of salads that have all kinds of added stuff, all kinds of cheeses added and sauces, and it's just the plain veggies is barely there anymore. But yes, you can eat there. You can pick a salad anywhere you go, and in a restaurant, and sometimes if you want something warm and you're eating out with friends and you don't want too many comments on your rabbit food. That's always when people say, then eat some steamed veggies.
Steamed
So
veggies, salad, applesauce. I mean, just go to the sides options, and that's what I do too. Every time I go to somebody's house for like a birthday or just visiting, everybody looks at me like, "What are you going to eat?" And I'm like, there are lots of options here. I mean, I'm not just because I'm not eating the burger or the steak. There are lots of options here, and please don't worry about me. But it's always a big deal where people are so afraid that I'm not going to have anything to eat while I'm there. But I'm always perfectly fine and it's no problem.
yeah, I see that Mary has a question. Are there any suggestions for cravings? The interesting part is with cravings, and as anybody else, of course, I have them too. But then I noticed when I was really set my mind to it's going to be fruit only and absolutely nothing else. The third day, I had no cravings. And otherwise, I always have cravings for whatever is salty. This means you have weak adrenals, and your adrenals are not going to be fixed if you keep eating, the foods that are not healing you, are not helping your body to heal. That's how I should say it. And it depends on what your cravings are for. You can make the most delicious things from fruit. We haven't even talked about the nice cream, as they are calling it now, just fruit. It can be It can be just one fruit. It can be bananas. It can be mangoes. It doesn't matter. And you have your nice cream. You can drip it with another fruit sauce. Also put it in a blender, blueberries or something. Looks nice.
Dates also.
Yeah, of course.
Mhm.
And sometimes when I don't feel like getting a meal, there are a few things I always have near me here in my office. And it is a bowl with tangerines or mandarins. I don't know what they call them here. It's not grape season now, so no more grapes. And I have my dates here. And if I eat 3 dates, I mean, my God, that's all the sweets that I can handle. And I'm not hungry anymore.
Mhm.
So make sure that you have the foods around you that are good to eat, and don't put anything else in your fridge. Now, that is easier said than done when you have a family that eats differently than you. So yeah, that takes some strength.
Yeah.
And
Thing I do is smoothies. Like I always will, like if I'm hankering or I'm craving, I just try to get full on a smoothie, because a smoothie will also give you that bloaty feeling that we're also used to still. And then just kind of sip on that too. And that always does help to curb my cravings too.
yeah, and the longer you stay on the fruit, or the mostly fruit. And when I hear people say I eat mostly fruit, and then when I ask about what else do you eat, there's the stuff that comes out that actually causes the cravings. And those are often the high fats, the proteins.
The pastas.
Yeah, well, I'm guilty.
Mhm.
I found this millet pasta, and you think it's healthier, because I heard Dr. Morse said if you absolutely need to eat something of a grain, then millet is the best that you can do. It's still not healthy, so if it once a week, okay, but still. So yeah, and I found this pasta, but what I realized is, and I known that my whole life, when I ate grains like croissants, a big thing, and they have delicious, warm, fresh croissants in Holland. So, and I even made them myself. When I ate croissants, 15 minutes later, I felt like in a coma. I could not stay awake. I just fell asleep. It didn't matter if it was early in the morning or I was just up for an hour. So that already tells you what it does in your body.
Mhm. Exactly.
Now I noticed exactly the same thing with the millets. Now, millet is supposed to be gluten-free, but wherever this is being made, they also make other stuff that is not gluten-free. So I think that something sneaked into that stuff. So I cannot really advise people to eat that. Just get away from it. Get away from the cooked food and the pastas and the pizzas and etc. Because when the transitioning to a healthier diet or to more fruit, you are looking for replacements for the healthier, get a healthier pasta or a healthier pizza. But when it comes to it, it's just as hard to leave that out.
It sure is. When I
So,
transitioned, I would still order pizza with no cheese. And
and and,
then,
and still tomatoes.
yes, and still have like the sauce or whatever, or Domino's even had like this vegan crust or whatever. So I still did that because for me, I know a lot of people it's cheese, but it was always bread for me. The bread and the pasta, that's so hard. Even still, like I still want bread to this day. But I just try to limit it, few, far, and in between. And yeah, I feel it. Sometimes it hits like a rock in my stomach now. But sometimes it's still good, and then everything's okay. But you just listen to your body. The cravings usually are not your body talking. That I always imagine it's some kind of little alien living inside there that's telling me what I think I need. But the cravings are usually not exactly what you're craving for. Sometimes you're just really dehydrated too. That's the thing we've hit on a couple times now. We're very dehydrated people, and you're not going to get hydrated drinking just water. You need your fruit and you need your fruit juice. And then you need your water to keep you moving, especially in the beginning, so you don't get constipated.
Yeah, and there is another thing, you talk about aliens in our body. I think we have some aliens there. They call parasites.
Yep.
And so that is the first thing when we start on a protocol, we start with taking care of those parasites. And if you take, we have the parasite G, it's called for general, any big any parasite. And I just heard that you don't want to get rid of all the parasites because then you would die. There are the cleaners, but if there are too many because of all the junk food that we eat, we are having problems. So a
Mhm.
big part of getting healthy is getting rid of too many parasites. The other ones is the microorganisms, the candidas, the molds, the fungus, and we're full of it. We're all full of it. With some,
Mhm.
you can see it in the eyes, how bad it is. With others, not so much. My eyes, you don't see it, but I'm pretty sure I'm full of it anyway. It's the candida, the fungus, and the air we breathe. There's so much stuff in it. And they did a mold test in the general area of my house, what I'm breathing in. And yeah, there are spores of mold. And he said, oh, but this is normal. You have that in every house. I was like, okay, well, then it's just in the air.
Yep. The
That
high
doesn't,
humidity areas
yeah,
probably. Hmm.
yeah. Somebody just, Brigitte said, and Dr. Sebi said, it's millet and quinoa. It has to be sprouted and made crisp with a dehydrator. Maybe there are some little things that do less harm when eaten in very small amounts. But actually, quinoa is not good for us. It doesn't matter if it's sprouted, it doesn't matter if it's made crisp, it's still a seed. It's not about the quinoa, it is just that it has a high fat and high protein. That is the problem. And that the proteins are the problem of our health issues. And would it be bad if you would eat a slice of quinoa bread once a week? Probably it won't do you any harm. I made the most delicious quinoa bread. And oh my gosh, I probably have 100 pounds of quinoa seeds here in the house. And they're probably over the date now. And I was gonna make, for when we couldn't get any food, and I could make them for everybody around here, because I make them with with nuts and other seeds, and with dried fruit. So that bread is delicious, absolutely delicious. And I stopped making it years ago. It's like, no, it's not healthy for us. And that is the thing. Dr. Sebi had a lot of very interesting things. And I met him, or yeah, his stuff. He was still alive then, before I met Dr. Morse, but it wasn't, he has the right idea. And I even thought about going to his resorts. I forgot the country where it was at, because that is actually where he was originally from. And I thought that is the key, but there are still too many things in there that are not working for us. A lot of things are, but it's not everything, and it's not just fruit. There are too many other things. And no, we should not eat grains and seeds and nuts. And can we eat them once we've done detoxing and we feel we're healthy? Sure, you can incorporate a little, but when you look on the mucusless food list, and you see that they are mucus forming, would you want to eat them in your clean body? I don't think so. You know?
And I think once you're done with detox too, when you do eat them, you'll feel different. They won't feel the same in your body anymore.
No, and you start eating so much less that food the whole concept of food will change. And I already, in the first year, the first half year, I already noticed that I'm not sitting down for meals. It's like, okay, it's lunchtime or it's dinner time. It's like, yeah, I could have some watermelon or what, and because I just feel like it. And not because I'm hungry, because the hunger goes away when you're out on all fruit. You may hear your stomach rumble because like it's okay, it's empty. It could need some, but it is not those hunger or those hunger pains that we have when we eat fats and proteins or cooked food. I have it with just healthy cooked food, soups made from onions and leafy greens and some garlic, and it makes me tired, low frequency, bloating, wanting to eat more and more and constantly hungry. And that is then on what is considered healthy food. You don't have that on fruit.
No.
We
do
are,
have,
yeah.
I would say we have one more question. They asked about lentils.
Yeah, lentils is it is like a bean. It is very high in protein, so that's the same thing. I was at a raw food restaurant a few weeks ago, and they sprouted it, and she did the same thing with wild rice, and she thought it would be healthy, and I was like, no, I don't like it. Not even the wild rice. It was sprouted and it was grained up. It was not cooked. It was all raw, and with the lentils too. So.
And we have the same person. They said, are there any fruits we shouldn't eat, and which vegetables can we eat?
Well, I have all that on that mucusless food list, which is actually should be, did I, in the show notes? Yeah, I think it is. So print out that list and you can see it. There is fruit that is you don't want to eat when you are detoxing, like durian. It's very high fat, like avocado, and people like to say, yeah, avocado is a fruit because it has a seed in there. Like, yeah, well, you know, and pineapple. I mean, my God, how delicious is a pineapple that came ripe from the tree? You cannot buy them. And even my my sniff test in the grocery store, like, do they smell like an ripe pineapple, or do they smell actually a little rotten? And it's always a little rotten. So so no, those are the fruits that are not healthy for you. You can get away with the pineapple thing if you, and I think that is still the case, that they are picked if you buy them frozen, they are picked right because they are frozen right away. And so then you still, with those of pineapples, I don't have an issue. But any pineapple, even when it looks, or you would think it smells like it is ripe, it burns in my mouth and on my lips. It's crazy.
Yeah, is it bromine?
Yeah.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it just starts eating my mouth almost instantly. I've unfortunately never had a fresh pineapple. I look forward to the day when I can.
Yes, I did have fresh pineapples, and oh my gosh, this was a guy on a farmer's market, and he was the way he did it, he kind of cut up a whole pineapple and put it in back in where he had gotten it out, so all the pieces, and he had them picked from his property, before he came to the farmer's market. And I ate that whole pineapple and I had no problems whatsoever. That is how great they can be.
Oh, that's so wonderful. I
It
look
is.
forward to that.
I had one. Yeah, I had a ripe one here in the yard. I actually grew it from, what do they call it? Like the crown, the top from the store-bought one.
Yeah.
It took a year, and it had not a big pineapple, kind of small. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's ripe. Let's pick it tomorrow. Yeah, it was ripe, and the critters got it, so it was empty.
Oh no. Next time, put a little cage around it or something.
Yeah.
I think it's so funny how when we do find like something that's really good, like we'll sit down and eat the whole entire thing. Whereas, if you're around people just get a little bit of fruit and then whatever, and then we'll sit there and eat the whole thing. And people are like, how did you eat all that? Like, oh, your sugar is going to be jacked. And I'm like, no, not at all. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
There was one other thing I wanted to say too before we did end, is that during when we talked about all the other different things with all the people that wrote the books and everything on the different types of juices and protocols and whatnot, the truth is always simple. It doesn't have to be complex or anything. So the truth is simple. I'm not saying that anybody is purposely lying, but when it's too detailed, that's when I think you need to start questioning things too. So, God has given us everything. It's pure and simple. Our bodies are miracles. So just keep trying to go the straight and narrow path. The closer you are on that path, the more narrow it's going to be. So It's the same with like friends, as you continue on this path, you may only have like, 2, 3, 4 really good friends or a tight knit group or whatnot. Your foods will start becoming more limited. It's because it's just very, very simple. And that is very hard for a lot of people to understand. It does not have to be complex. You do not have to fly to India to get this special herb to do whatever. It's just very simple.
What can I even add to that? You've said it all. Yes, please do not feel that you need a ton of expensive herbal formulas. Only when you are very, very sick, they can help you. But the diet always comes first. It is not even, it's no use to start taking all kinds of herbs to heal if your diet is not up to par. It won't do you any good. You might as well save your money. And please do not get into the whole supplement scam.
Nope, expensive
So
urine.
yeah, that's all that I want to say about that. I thank everybody for being here, listening to us. Let us your questions know. We are happy to be here. And we look forward to the next one in the new year. So for everybody, we are going to have an amazing year because we are going to create an amazing year. And
Yes,
it's always up to us.
absolutely. And Happy New Year, everyone. And thank you, Toni, so much. And thank you for everyone in the chat. And we look forward to your questions for next week.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.